So I record classes anyway, but generally what I record are like demos. So if I'm doing like a software demo or something, then I would record that and have it available for you guys to review afterwards. So in addition to the notes you would take, you'd have a recording to refer back to. I've done it for years and everyone's always found it really useful. Of course, this semester, they want us to live stream courses or the classes through Zoom. I'm not doing that for a number of reasons. It's a pain in the ass. Okay, it's just untenable. It's not going to be sustainable. It's going to burn people out. There's no reason for you to have to come to an 11 o'clock Zoom, right? It's asynchronous. It's the internet. It's fine. But what I will do is I will record all of my classes. I'll record as much as I can. So the early stuff, the stuff we talked about. So on the days you do not come to class, so for you guys Thursday, there will be a recording made available later that day. Okay, it takes a little bit of time to export and then upload to YouTube and for YouTube to process it. And then I always post it as an unlisted link on YouTube. Okay. All it's recording is my screen and my voice and whatever audio. So if you guys ask questions or something, I'll probably repeat your questions if you ask me. That way, generally the laptop can pick me up even if I'm like way over here. I did yesterday, so it should be okay. I try to talk loud enough. We'll see how long my voice lasts too, because I talk a little bit more through the mask. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess we can let's get started. I don't really have a through line. Today's going to be a syllabus day, okay, like normal. So I'll just go over what to expect for the class, how Blue Line is going to factor into it, kind of give you an idea of what we're going to do over the course of the semester, and then go through all the COVID policies, which I'm sure if you had classes yesterday, you've heard already. But we got to go through them. So, okay. So the first thing, everything's gonna be done on Blue Line. Or actually, sorry, I'm Alex. I'll take this off for just a second so you guys can see me as I sweat profusely. Blue mask. I'm Alex. You can call me Alex. You can call me Professor Myers. Either works. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD. I have an MFA. An MFA is a Master of Fine Arts. It's terminal in the arts. Okay. So I don't know. Master is not a great thing to be called, so no one really calls me master. So not exactly, but I don't have a title, unfortunately. So Professor Myers or Alex, whatever you're comfortable with, it doesn't bother me. If you call me something I don't like, I'll let you know. Okay. I've been here the start of my 7th year. I just got tenure. So that was great. Yeah. I can rest a little bit. We'll see if the school lasts, trade survives. It was good to get tenure and then have the world end. I found out I got tenure 2 weeks, or the week after spring break last semester. So it was the week after everyone was like, yeah, we're done. We're going online. We don't know if we'll be here in the fall, etc. I was like, oh, of course that would happen. The job I had before I was here, I was at a university where I taught only online. And I did that for 3 years. I taught 5 classes a quarter, so like 20 classes a year. And it was insane. That's why I left. And now I'm back to teaching online. It's great. It's really ironic. I'm an artist. I do all the, in this department, I do all the computer science design stuff, right? So if it's design related but computer science adjacent, I do it. My background is in interactive media and environments. I did grad school in the Netherlands. I lived there for 3 years. It was great. I'm kind of from here, sort of. It's a weird thing to say. I grew up in Southern California. We moved here when I was 10, so I have family here. But I spent my summers, my sister and I spent my summers in the LA area with our dad. So as soon as school got out, we get on a plane, fly out to LA for the summer. A week before school started, we fly back. So one foot in both places. And then I was stationed there. I was stationed in Oceanside at Camp Pendleton. I was in the Marines about 20 years ago. So I lived there a lot. I've been there. I leave here and I go there and then I come back and then finally start my life. But yeah, so I do a lot of technology-based artwork. I work in 3D models and 3D modeling and animation. So I make things like this, like physics simulations. Yay. Yeah, exactly. I do stuff with uh, 3D printing and laser cutting. This is a local show I had back in December. All of these sculptures are they're like Mr. Potato Heads. You can pop the stuff off. They're all magnet based, so you can rearrange them any way you want. Um, this is a piece. I'm still working on it. Just taking video game controllers and making them really difficult to hold on to and weird. This was a VR music video. It's available on YouTube as a 360 video. This is a multiplayer game. It's only 4 people at once. This is a game as well. This is a haptic game, so there's no visuals. You just feel it. So I do lots of different stuff. Interactivity is my specialty. I teach the interactive design class, gde 423. I teach a special topic, immersive design, augmented reality and virtual reality. I teach the data visualization class, gde 426. It's part of the data science major. Teach web design. Teach a foundations course right now. We'll see how long that lasts. We need to hire somebody else so that I can do some advanced classes. But you'll come across me probably another time at some point. You'll have to take web design if you're a design major and a journalism major and a computer science. So you'll have to take it with you. And hopefully, I think most of you will probably end up taking 324 digital foundations. You might get me for that as well. So there's a couple of us that teach that class. But yeah, so lots of stuff. I do mods of video games. You take a video game and then you make custom stuff for it and put it in there. I've been doing it for ages. Yeah, that's a little bit of what I do. I have 3 kids. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I have a 4-year-old son, and I have an 18-month-old. I don't know. At this point in my life, I haven't had hair longer than I have hair. It's always a fun thing to find out. I started losing my hair at 17. I'm 39, so 22 years. I shaved my head like as soon as it started. Like as soon as I noticed that it was getting thin, I was like, man, gone. It runs in my family, so I knew it was coming. But I thought my cousin, who's 7 months older than me, he's still got all his hair. Asshole. I cuss a lot too. Sorry. So if that bothers you, I apologize. Yeah, but anyway, so this is all part of I guess there's a introduce yourself section. Okay. It's one of the first things I want you to do. It's a discussion board. It's worth 25 points. I break up a lot of my assignments as like we'll do like a draft or a critique version of it. So it's like your first draft of an assignment, and then we'll talk about it. Generally, we would talk about it in class. But what's going to happen this semester, so that you can mix with the Thursday people, is that you will talk about it on discussion board. So you'll need to upload images of whatever we're working on. Leave comments on 2 other students' work, and then they will leave comments on yours. And we'll talk more about that as it gets closer. But part of that's usually always worth 25% or 25 points. I try to make my grading pretty simple. 25 points, and then when you turn in the final version, I will grade it. I have a rubric, and that's in the syllabus, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. And I'll attach a screenshot of that rubric filled out with your points and comments. Okay? So you always get pretty detailed feedback from me. If you ever want more feedback from me, just ask. I am very happy to give you. Very easy to do. But yeah, so take a moment, either write a brief paragraph or upload a video. I find video is easier. Tell us your name, your major, where you're from, a little bit about yourself that people might find surprising. So pretty much what I just did, right? And then if you come to Zoom office hours for me, this is the view you'll probably see a lot. It's my apartment, so I get a lot of that in the back. Might be a screaming kid occasionally. Yeah, pretty straightforward, right? Any questions on that? No? Let's do next week. I think I have it set as the 24th, but that might be wrong. 25th, which I think is Tuesday. Is that Tuesday? That is Tuesday. Great. Just wanted to double check. Yeah, so that should be the first thing you do. Everything is broken up into modules. Right now, the only one you can see is the syllabus module. So do the introduce yourselves one. There's a short presentation on the SD200 modality, class attendance schedule. Haven't looked at that yet. And then a PDF copy of the syllabus. Okay. If you want a live, always updated version of the syllabus, just go to the syllabus link, and that will take you to a Google Doc. Okay, that Google Doc, which I checked this morning and I forgot to update the link, but it is updated now to the COVID one. That syllabus is always updated. Okay, that's a live version of it. The PDF, it shouldn't change too much from the PDF. If it does change, I'll let you know. I'll try to remember to update the PDF link. But yeah, that's there. As you can see, these aren't open yet, so you guys can't see them in your accounts, but we will start this on Thursday. Our first project is we're going to do a storyboard project. It'll take about 2 weeks to work on that. The whole point of this class, Concept Sketch, Concept Sketch is a weird name for a course, but what it means is I'm just trying to show you guys or equip you guys with some methods and best practices for thinking about design, for starting design. Okay, it's a structure for, it's like a scaffolding. Sorry, that's like edgy scaffolding. But it is, it's a framework. Okay, it's a framework for how to think about getting started on complex projects. A lot of times you need to do this because you have to pitch those projects. You have to say, hey, I think this is really worthwhile doing. Give me some money so I can do it. Or give me the go-ahead, essentially, give me some money so I can do it. And then whoever your supervisor is, or your boss, or your teacher, or whatever, says, yeah, okay, cool. I see you clearly communicating your idea. Now go ahead and take some time and make this complicated a reality. It's a little trickier than a lot of people realize at first, especially when you have complex ideas that take place over different mediums: print, interaction, screen, performance, physical objects, whatever. Right? You need to be able to clearly articulate your vision or your idea for that project in order to get support. Yeah. And plus, it helps you just think it through. Okay? Think of it as like the outlining phase for an essay or term paper or something. You're doing the research, you're doing the outlining, and then you're getting permission to go ahead. You're getting permission to go ahead and then write the paper. Okay? We will never write the paper in this class. We will only ever get to the outlining stage. That's all that's all we have time for. This is not a skills-based class. I'm not going to have you open up Photoshop and I'm not going to show you how to do stuff in Photoshop or anything like that. Okay? The skills you come into class with are the skills you use. Right? If you were like frustrated because you think you could figure out a better way to articulate an idea, I may nudge you in the right direction. Like, you're like, well, try this out, But I'm not going to sit down and systematically teach you something. I'm going to teach you how to think about things, not necessarily how to do things, which is weird for design courses because usually it's both or how to do. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, great. If it doesn't make sense, you can send me an email or ask me now or ask me later. It doesn't matter. So yeah, we'll do about 5 projects, maybe 6. First one, like I said, is storyboards. Second one is multifunctional furniture. Third one is mural design. The fourth one is playground design. And then the 5th/6th one is a personal project. It's 5 or 6, 5 and 6, based on the scope of that last project. This is like a final project, a big list of things that I suggest, right? You could pick one of the projects we did before and elaborate on it. If you do something kind of really big, then it's one project and all these points, or you can do like 2 smaller projects. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything's worth about 100 points except that last one, which is 125. I might make it 100. 150. We'll see. Usually try to make it a little bit more. Oh, one thing that's not on here. Shoot. Let me find it. I meant to add it to that module. Actually, let's go back. There we go. Extra credit readings. There it is. Okay. Another thing that we do I'm going to change this due date. Oops. One of the other things I do in my courses, and pretty much all of them, is what day do we? Oh, that's 19. It's 19. Is this extra credit reading assignment? What this extra credit reading assignment is I have a list of books that I've collected in a form. This list of books, sorry, it's zoomed in from yesterday. This list of books is just, it's a selection of books that I think are important for you to read at some point in your life. It will make you, will expand your horizons and your boundaries. It'll push you out of your comfort zone. Anybody an avid reader? Oh my God. Nobody reads for fun? Oh my gosh, you're right. Okay, well, you're going to now. You're going to have fun, damn it. All right, well, guess what you're going to do this semester? So the reading assignment, you pick something off this list. Okay, you read it over the course of the semester. You make an appointment through Zoom to talk to me about the book. All right, convince me you read the book and didn't just watch the movie or read the Wikipedia. It'll be very evident. If you convince me, which most people do, then what I do is I up one of your projects a letter grade. It's huge, right? Got a B, you get an A. Got a C on the project, you get a B, et cetera, et cetera. Get an A, you get an F. It's circular. Okay. But yeah, so whatever your lowest project grade is, I will bump that up a little. Okay? I do this because I had an astronomy professor who taught like a generalized astronomy class, right? Hundreds of people every semester. He did this for his courses. And his list was amazing. And I read pretty much everything on that course in 4 or 5 years. But I had such a great conversation with him about the book I did read. And it was wonderful. And I was like, this is a really good thing to do. So I do it. Sometimes I do a watch list too. I have a curated list of movies that I think are interesting for people to watch. But this semester we're going to do books. Pick another one of my classes, you might get to watch it. And with the watch list, I add 5 points onto something. I don't do a letter grade. I feel like the book is a bigger commitment, right? Now there are some shorter books on here. There's some graphic novels, like that's a graphic novel. You guys know what a graphic novel is, right? It's a comic book, just a thicker comic book. It's usually like 150 pages or so, if not more. Yeah, there's some really easy stuff to read on here. There's some really hard stuff to read on here. There's nonfiction, there's fiction. If you're interested, this politics of design is really good. If you're going to be a design major or you're interested in politics. Yeah, these all just have really interesting and different ways of looking at the world. And the reason, and it skews to sci-fi. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Very much skews to sci-fi. The reason being science fiction is speculative fiction. It's thinking about what if. It's thinking about the future. As designers, that's what we do. We're speculative. We're always thinking about how do we solve this next problem? How do we fix this thing? How do we communicate better in order to help galvanize people to do something? Now that gets twisted in advertising. Sell people shit they don't need, right? But we're not in advertising. You can tell Jeff I said that if you have classes. He knows. He knows how I feel about that. There's stuff about the history of the internet, like how that got started, if that's interesting to you. All kinds of things. If you find a collection, so like art machines and the 79 short essays on design and design is art, these are all collections of essays. You read like 3 essays. Let me know what you're going to read, and then I'll make a recommendation of how much. Don't read the. I mean, if you want to read the whole thing, but 79 short essays is like 400 or 500 pages. So it is a bit of a commitment. It's kind of dry stuff. Yeah.
What's your favorite book on the list?
Oh God, that changes. Man, in terms of impact on how I think about and have thought about the world, how I look at the world, oh God, I would have to say it's probably Flatland or Neuromancer. You guys know who William Gibson is? The author? No?
I've heard of him.
What was that? Sure. You guys heard the term cyberpunk?
Yeah.
Yeah, cyberpunk. He came up with that term. And it was first used in this book, Neuromancer. This is one of the first science fiction novels to deal with the internet. Think about what the internet is. He's got a whole series called the Sprawl series, which is all based all loosely in that same world. First thing. But Neuromancer is where cyberpunk first came to be. Was first mentioned. They made a really terrible Keanu Reeves movie in like the late 90s, early 2000s based off of it called Johnny Mnemonic. Anyone heard of that? Horrible. Well, awesome. I like to show movies during like if you have like work time, like studio time, I call it. I have studio background, studio art. I'll show movies, clips of movies during that time. So anyway, that would be a great one to read. Any of the Gibson ones, I would say that's probably my favorite. Yeah, Flatland was really good too, though. I read Flatland. Flatland is a Victorian fiction, like novel, and it's really short. It's maybe 100 pages, but it posits a world of two-dimensional creatures, simple shapes. Their hierarchy is based on their class system is based on how many sides they have. So circles are at the top, triangles and lines are at the bottom. It's a parody of Victorian society. Okay. So if you like Victorian drama, romance stuff, Flatland's gonna be up your alley. But in it, a square, which is kind of like middle class, a square is given a vision of three dimensions, right? And just explodes his worldview. Because here's something he didn't even know existed, right? A third dimension. We exist in three dimensions. Well, actually, we exist in four dimensions. Time. But then he comes back to the two-dimensional world, Flatland, and he tries to convince people that there's a second dimension. But they can't feel it, or touch it, or smell it, or see it, or hear it. And so nobody believes it. And hijinks ensue. It's really good. Really, really good. So yeah, the thoughts are really, I don't know. It's between those two. But some of these other ones are just amazing. There's one on here, Speaker for the Dead. Anybody see the movie Ender's Game? A couple of you. Okay, so have you read the book Ender's Game? Read the book, much better. The movie is not bad, but the book's better. Speaker for the Dead is the sequel to the book. And it's way better than Ender's Game. Because it just takes all these ideas that are kind of thrown up in Ender's Game and projects them forward 2,000 years. Because time becomes meaningless when you can travel at light speed. When you can travel close to light speed, time is completely and utterly relative. So you're traveling to a different star system at like 50% the speed of light. Back here on Earth, hundreds of years go by, if not thousands. Because they're traveling twice as fast as you are. So anyway, that's really interesting. I don't want to tell you too much in case you end up reading that. So yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of really good stuff on here. But yeah, long answer to a short question. Yeah, so this is a fun assignment. Fill out the form. There's a link to the form. The form also has the link to the books. Email address, what your name is. Oh yeah, I'll update this to include Concept Sketch, or you can just click Other and put Concept Sketch. It's up to you. The reason I want this is it feeds to a spreadsheet, and I have a record of who has said they're going to, and then when you do come in, then I can just mark it off. Then I always do this at the very end. I always add that letter if you've come in and talked to me at the very end of it. So you won't see any sort of bump at like midterm. Bump it. Make sense? Great. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into the syllabus. So first, a message from Snoop Dogg. Someone paid him on Cameo. Have you guys seen this? Did you watch this yet?
A message from Big Snoop Double G to all the university students. Yo.
Hold on a sec. It bugs me that the sound is going through my speakers and not through. There we go.
Listen, you gotta do it. You gotta.
Didn't hear what he said. Screwed you up. Okay.
A message from Big Snoop Deal Double G to all the university students. Yo, syllabus. You gotta do it. You gotta read it. Man, I'm telling you, the more you know, the further you go. Tell them Snoop Dogg sent you. Syllabus. I know all about it. Catch up so we can have a conversation. Don't be late. Let's go.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of awkward and kind of cringy, but I love it. Okay, anyway. So yeah, the syllabus, read it. Hey, when you have to do this every semester for 3 different classes for years and years and years, you gotta mix it up. Calm down. But yeah, so the syllabus is I mean, it's a standard syllabus. There's a couple rules for like if you're using found resources that are a little specific to this class. Try to use your own stuff when you can. Try to draw your own pictures, etc. Just don't get into the habit of taking other people's work. Now, you can be inspired by other people's work. You can trace other people's work and change it, right? Like say you are not very good at drawing bodies, right? So you find some stock images that have bodies that are roughly in the same position, whatever that you want, for whatever project you're storyboarding. Trace that body, it's fine. Okay? You're not using the stock image, you're not including that stock image in your work, you're just using it as inspiration. That kind of stuff is totally fine. Okay. Taking that stock image and being like, I made this is where I draw the line. Fonts, stuff like that. You can find free fonts pretty easily. If you have trouble, you can just Google free fonts and you'll find them. You go to google.com/fonts and get lots of free fonts. So you really shouldn't steal fonts. So it's really difficult to steal fonts. It's not difficult. Yeah, we'll work through a bunch of different methods for finding things. In this class, it's not that much. There are some basic technology requirements. For us, it's not going to be huge. Like I said earlier, we don't do a lot of tech, like a lot of stuff on the computer. One thing I do want you to have for this class is a sketchbook of some sort, and that sketchbook needs to be bigger than 8.5 by 11. Okay, so just something larger than 8.5. Preferably blank pages. Okay, if that's going to be an issue, don't worry about it. I can run to the printer and grab a bunch of 11 by 17 sheets of paper. Right? It's just going to be difficult to organize it. Sketchbook's easier. But if that is an issue, then I mean we can work around it. That's not going to make or break you for the class. And then just a pencil, really. The more tools you have, the better more comfortable you'll be. But pencil and a piece of paper is all you need to get through this class. Cool. All right. Class recordings, like I said, I will be recording the class and making that available. It'll be YouTube linked. It'll be unlisted, etc. We'll talk about some other stuff here. With that. When we do digital stuff, it's always a good idea to make sure that you have backups, a physical backup like a flash drive or external hard drive. Okay? And if you think or know that you're going to be a design major, I really recommend an external hard drive, like around 4 terabytes. That should get you through most of your design courses. And then also cloud backup, Dropbox, Google Drive, iCloud, whatever, MediaFire, any of those. Just to cover your bases. You don't want to lose projects. My first semester of grad school did all this work. Like I said, I was in the Netherlands, so I had a voltage adapter. Came home for Christmas, did some work, changed the voltage, just plug it into the wall. Went back to the Netherlands, forgot to change my voltage, and lost all of my work for my first semester. It's great. It's really good. Got really depressed, drank a lot of beer, played video games for like 3 months. They came to me and they were like, yeah, we're going to kick you out if you don't turn in some work. I was like, oh. So I spent 2 weeks making a bunch of work and did fine. But, cautionary tale, don't lose your work, back up your stuff. Of course, this was 12 years ago, so there were a lot of cloud options. But yeah, so just back up your stuff. Losing work is not going to excuse you from turning in assignments. A lot of our work is physical, so shouldn't be a problem. Like I said, we'll be turning stuff in just by taking pictures or scanning, okay, and then uploading the blue line for the most part. Classroom rules. This is stuff I have to put in here. They don't want you to be on your cell phones, but you know, as long as you're not holding up in your face and I don't feel like it's really rude towards me, then I'm cool. Okay, mine is sitting over there because I love kids. There may be a time when I have to take a phone call, and I'll leave the room. If you have to take a phone call, leave the room. You're adults, so I'm going to treat you like adults. You can have those rights and privileges. It's whatever. You're here voluntarily, hopefully. Text messaging, again, as long as it's not just like this, in your face, it's fine. Do what you want, right? You're responsible for what I'm giving to you, for getting it down. What's this? Music. When we're doing studio time, if you prefer to listen to music, just make sure you have headphones. Don't be that person in the classroom that plays music on their laptop speakers or their phone out loud, like my 8-year-old does in the car when we're driving. Don't ask me why she has a phone. It's not my choice. So, headphones. If I can hear your music through your headphones, you're probably suffering really bad ear damage. Because I have also suffered ear damage. I can't really hear out of this ear too well. So, maybe turn it down a little bit. I'll probably say something. Okay, project grades. This is that rubric I was talking about, but what it will look like when I give it to you, when I attach it to the final version of an assignment you turn in is this, whatever the project name is. So you'll get 40 points, or 40% of the grade, for turning it in on time. And I do adjust this to match that 75 points. It doesn't make sense. I'm done here. So that 40% of your grade is just for turning it in on time. 10% is craftsmanship. A lot of that just means, for this class, that context would be like, is it messy? Presented well? And depending on the project we're doing, I'll give you some guidelines. Because that's really contextual. Okay. Thoroughness, did you follow all the instructions? Did you pay attention to the details in the instructions? Did you pay attention to what I said in class? Does that come across in your assignment? Diligence, did you spend enough time on it? Because that does show, right? If you did it the night before, I'll be able to tell, usually. Clarity, is the concept of the assignment clearly recognizable? Or do I have to puzzle it out? That makes sense. And again, for this class, that's very contextual. And then inventiveness. So all of those previous things get you to an 80%. If you knock them all out of the park, you get an 80%, okay? Which is a B minus. I see you will be. To get into the upper B's and the A's is this wiggle room that I call inventiveness. And what that usually means is, did you push yourself? Did you do some exploratory work on your own? Did you check out things that I didn't even tell you? Right? Did you do some research because you were interested? I leave that up to you. If you do exactly what I tell you to do, you're going to get a high C will be. C is average. In my classes, C is average. That's a baseline. So if you want to get up there, just push yourself a bit. Okay. It's not hard. It's not hard. I would say that on average, most of my students get middle B to an upper B. Okay. That's putting forth a bit of effort. So I like passionate students, or I like passionate people, period. And if you exhibit some of that in this class, then you'll do well. Okay? Cool. All right, great.
Quick question.
Yeah.
About this sketchbook. How many pages do you think we will need?
Oh, nothing excessive. I mean, 100 pages probably. Yeah. I mean, if you're going 18 by, 18 by 24 is going to be that's great because the more room you have is awesome. But something around the 12 by 19 size is probably perfect. 11 by 17, something around that range. Just more than 8.5 by 11, 18 by 24 is, I would say, your max, just because I'm carrying that around. But then I would get something that's got at least medium weight paper.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
9 by 12.
Yeah, 9 by 12 is fine. Yeah, I would say 9 by 12 is your minimum, smallest item. The more space you have to draw and try out ideas and stuff, the more comfortable you're going to be. I used to be that art student that would carry around lots of little sketchbooks, and I always do. I always have like little pocket ones, and I have like medium-sized ones, and I have much bigger ones. And I always find myself like trying to like draw really tiny in those little pocket ones, and getting really frustrated, not really being able to express what I'm going to do. And my art teachers were always like, "Draw bigger, draw bigger, draw bigger." I'm like, I don't want to, small, but it does make a difference. I was definitely that student that was like, "Screw you, I know better," right? And then 10 years later, I'm like, "Oh, you were right." Late projects. If they're handed in a week late or under a week late, they get a 20% reduction in grade. So I take it off that 40%, right? It's not 20% of that 40%, it's a 20% of the whole thing. So I just cut that 40 in half. That makes sense? Okay. Projects between 1 and 2 weeks late, get a full 40% reduction. So just get a 0 in that on time category. Projects aren't accepted after 2 weeks, just because then you're getting behind quite a bit. There are, of course, exceptions made for this in certain circumstances. This semester, especially, who knows what's going to happen, right? I'm probably going to be really open about it, right? But normally that's not happening. If it gets excessive or I feel like you're abusing that openness, I'm going to say something, and then I might be like, yeah, I don't think we're going to be this open. Okay? But for the most part, if you get everything to me by, say, like midterm, everything we do before midterms, you get it to me by midterms, I'm going to be okay with it. Everything after you get it to me by finals, I'm going to be okay with it. The main thing I don't want to do is have 6 of your projects to grade during finals, because I'm just going to be really mean at that point. Okay? Because I'm going to be really irritated. Oh yeah, assignments and exercises. Everything's due at 11:59 of the day that they're due. Okay. We won't do a lot of in-class discussion of stuff because that's all going to be handled through the discussion boards on Blue Line. But if you do want to talk about something or you have questions, we can talk about it. Okay. I'm more than happy to give you feedback in class. Cool. All right. What will happen is I'll probably put it up on here and talk to you directly about it, but that way your classmates can get some of that ambient feedback because maybe they have a similar circumstance. Great. Department grading scale is thus 93 to an A, 100 is an A, 90 to 92.9 is an A minus. Rounding. Let me give you a little note about rounding. I don't automatically round up. Okay, so if you're at like 92.97, I'm not going to automatically round that up, which sounds like a big move, but here's what I'll tell you. I will probably round that up. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to round that up as a matter of policy. The reasons I would round that up, you're active on the discussion boards, you're active in class, you do good work, you're here all the time, etc. That here all the time thing is going to be a little different this semester, of course. But you're active in the class in some manner, either online or in class. Okay, you're just showing me that you're engaged. Okay? If I look at your stuff, I'm like, I don't remember who this person is. Then I'm probably not going to round up for you. Cool. All right. That said, I don't think I've never not round up if it's been like 92.97. At that point, I'm like, yeah, if you're at that, yeah, you did that. But it comes more in this range here, where I'm sort of like, it just depends. Right? So yeah. Midterms are the first week of October. We don't have a break. Yay. So we're going to do midterms, then we're going to come right back and do stuff. Midterms for this class, or nothing. It's a project. You turn in a project, that's it. There's no quiz, there's no test, there's nothing like that. We'll just turn in a project, I'll grade the project. It's going to be totally normal for us. Okay? Finals are the same way. There's no special final. Just turn in your final project. All right? It's pretty easy. It is a 300 level class. It's not psycho. Attendance, we kind of just ignore the attendance right now. This semester in attendance is very weird. This is a rough outline of what we'll be doing, color coded by project, and how it aligns with the weeks. We, of course, don't have this dead week. But let's talk about policies. Okay, this is where it gets a little weird. We've already kind of talked about how my hybrid classes are going to work. All right, you might have some that will be live streamed. Mine will not be. You'll get the recording on the days you're not here. Okay. Otherwise, just come on your day. You have assigned seating. Okay, so the seats you are in now are the seats you need to stay in. Right. Hopefully that's not an issue. Right. I don't want to have to make a seating chart. Just remember where you're at is where you should be at every Tuesday. This is for contact tracing purposes. Okay. If somebody gets sick, then we can notify the people in their immediate vicinity, etc. Okay. You will also be responsible for cleaning your spaces before you leave, and how I'll release everybody sort of individually. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll do the outside first. You'll go, right? You'll go, and then what we'll do is then you'll go, then you'll go, then you'll go. That way I'm just working backwards and no one's like passing or passing each other. When we clean, what I want you to do, we have one spray bottle, which is great for share a spray bottle to disinfect stuff, right? So come up, sanitize your hands, grab a spray bottle, spray your paper, come over, wipe down your desk, use the computer, wipe down, spray the paper, not the computer. Wipe down your keyboard, wipe down the mouse. Take your paper with you, throw it away outside. Cool. Okay, maybe sanitize your hands. But sanitize your hands first before you grab the bottle. Great. Yeah. Mask mandates. Gotta have a mask on campus, unless you're like in your dorm. Okay. If you come to class, I don't think this is gonna happen. But if you come to class, you don't have your mask, you don't want to wear your mask. Suddenly you wake up and you're like, I've had it with masks. I'm not wearing my mask anymore. Right? Don't come to class. It's fine. It's fine. You can still get your stuff. You can still get through the course. The only reason you come to class is to get one-on-one help with me in real time. Okay? Pretty much. That's the only reason. We could easily teach this class online. Right? But so if you don't want to wear your mask, don't come to class. Okay? If you do come to class without a mask on, if you make it this far without your mask on, without someone stopping you and telling you to put on a mask, I will go. If you won't, I'll call public safety. If that doesn't work, I will remove you from class. Okay? I feel very strongly about it. Very strongly. I've hit the point in the pandemic where I'm rage shouting at people as I drive down the street that don't have. Like, going past believers and seeing people play sand volleyball made me want to drive my car through sand volleyball. It's just like, oh my God, people, come on. Really? I've been doing this for 5.5 months. So, I feel a little strongly. I'm not promising violence, I'm just saying. Okay. So, Creighton, honest. Creighton has these 4 R's they want us to do: remind, request, retrieve, reports. I'm adding a 5th one called remove, because it'll happen, right? I don't think it's gonna. Honestly, I don't think anyone's gonna be that kind of person so far in any of my classes. I've not looked at them and I think you might be that person. No one's jumped out at me about that. So, rest assured. There might be some drama though. We'll see. Any questions about that? No. Okay. All right. COVID-19 attendance policy. We're being super lenient this semester. Yeah, that's the only way to get through it. Like I said, if you don't feel good, don't come to class. If you don't wear your mask, don't come to class. If you don't want to come to class, don't come to class. You're still responsible for getting the work. Okay? Nothing, that doesn't change. Get the work done. I don't care if you're in class or not. Stay in your dorm. That's it. That's all I care about this. Okay. Everybody's good with that? Am I not good with it? You can say so. No? Okay. Always curious. Misconduct. So with with the specific COVID-19 stuff, this has to do with the recording of the courses and the live streaming. Just don't misuse those. Okay. Um, don't do anything that might be construed as cyberbullying with them. All right. Don't antagonize other students. Don't antagonize your professors. Creighton has some very strict consequences for those sorts of actions. Cool. All right, I'm gonna leave that one kind of open there. Cleaning, we talked about that. Office hours. Oh, these are wrong. Let me just take that off. Office hours are listed in the SD200 presentation. Okay. And what they're going to be, and this will change a little bit here, maybe. What they'll be is I have to go back to the presentation to remember. It's a little up in the air right now. Wednesdays for sure, 12 to 4, maybe 12 to 5. It just depends on my schedule. Yeah, 12 to 4. Tuesday, Thursdays, 9 to 10:30 a.m. I didn't really do those this morning. It's the first day of school. Also, email me for an appointment. Right? I'm going to try to get it set up in Creighton Connect so you can just go through that automatically. But email is always a great option to try to schedule an office hour. Okay, it'll all be done through Zoom. All right. I'll either be in my office or I'll be at home. Don't come to my office. Don't hang around after class and ask questions. They really want us to kind of discourage that, sadly. I kind of enjoy that, but you know, defeats the purpose, I guess, of social distance. Appointments I'll give out in 30-minute increments. You might not need that whole time. In this class, probably not. Okay. Yeah. Any questions over any of that? No? There won't be a standing Zoom link. I will send you one. Okay. The reason being is that Zoom Room software they want you to use for that stuff is terrible. Terrible. It's very unoptimized. And when I installed it, it asked for all these permissions to like automatically update my computer every week. I was like, no, no, you don't get to do that. So we're not good. So I'll just send you a Zoom link. That's one of the reasons for the appointment. Okay? Cool. If you do need to get a hold of me like immediately, email me. I'll see it. I always have my phone on me. It'll pop up. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And definitely during these times, that's when I'll be most open to that. The rest of this is just normal. Don't use other students' work. Don't use students' work from past semesters. I have caught people doing that, not specifically in this class, but in other classes. One year, I tell the story a lot, but one year I had a student who was a graduating senior, and they asked another student in my interaction design class for help on the final project, which is always very specific to that person, what they want to do. And I got that help, but they turned in the other student's code as their own code. And if you've ever coded, or if you haven't, coding, when you're coding specifically for you, is always very different by whoever writes it, because everyone has little idiosyncrasies about how they organize stuff when they're writing code. Just like writing a paper, right? And plus, the software we use code signs, so it puts the person's name in it that the software is registered to, right? So he got the code from somebody else. He just copy pasted it into his software, his Xcode. And so it said, it code signed it, but it code signed it his name, and then right under his name, it code signed it with the person who got it from. And I was like, oh. So I opened up that person's assignment, went line by line, it was exactly the same. So I confronted him with it, he admitted it, and I failed him, and he had to do the class again. But I only offer that class once a year. So he had to wait till the spring of the following year to graduate. Don't be that person. Don't be the person. Yeah, I know it sucked. I mean, it was uncomfortable for me too, but also I hate cheating. So I'll do whatever I can to make sure you feel consequences for it if I get you. I mean, I had a student athlete do it a few years ago for a foundations course. Turned in somebody else's assignment, and I was like, I recognize this. And sure enough, it was like from 2 semesters in the past. It was a teammate, and I was like, yeah, that's not cool. And so we had to go through the athletics office, and I got censured, and yeah, I wanted more than that. That's all it had. Anyway, you know, so don't do that. You've all, whether or not you know it, taken an academic honesty pledge, or at least have signed it. So you will be held accountable for that kind of stuff if the temptation ever arises. Okay. Food. Food and drink. Food and drink inside tables totally cool. Outside tables, make sure it has a lid. Okay. That way you don't spill it on the $4,000. Well, at the time they were 4,000. But 5 years. You don't spill it on the computers. Okay. You're adults. I trust you so far until you show me anything. But yeah, so, and then with the mask, it's going to be weird anyway. Probably don't eat in class would be my recommendation, unless you're like starving. I usually always have coffee with me. Normally you'd see me carrying around this little thermos. But I can't. I'm kind of sad about it. It's like a security blanket, just something you have with you all the time. Yeah, I don't know. Are there any rules, or questions over the syllabus? Over the course? Or what to expect? No? Okay, get a sketchbook. You're going to need it for the storyboards, okay? As soon as you can. If you can't get one by Thursday, which is when we'll start the storyboard project, some blank sheets of paper. Okay? All right. On Thursday, read the description if you want to get started, or you can wait until I post the recording from class where I'll go through and I'll talk about it. Okay? It's up to you. Over that course of that day, you do that at your pace. So the days you're not in class are asynchronous. Just do it when you can. Cool? All right. Generally, all right. Well, I don't have anything else. So I think we can end there.